AITAH for taking my 1-year daughter away from her dad to the other side of the world after I caught my husband having sex with one of his employees. Me, 38F, and my husband, 33M, been together for nearly 8 years. We had our first child last July. Our daughter is 1 year and 5 months. Ever since she was born, I felt like I was a single mom. First, he was enrolled in an intense coding boot camp, which I encouraged him to do so he could get a high-paying job, work remote. During the boot camp, my parents came to stay with us to help with the baby and to free him to study. Also during the boot camp he was using Adderall to stay focused, and more than once, he was pulling all-nighters. When our daughter was about 5 months my maternity leave ended and I wasn't ready to get back to work. Also he suggested I stay home with our baby saying we have enough money saved up to live comfortably for 5 years. So I quit my job, but he started resenting me for not paying rent and for asking him for help with the baby, when my parents were not around. Around that time he also bought a bus and started renovating it, following his dream to turn it into an RV. It was during his deferrals so he had a few weeks off the boot camp. Around the time he graduated, he got the keys for the restaurant we owns. It was closed for an earthquake retrofit. He decided to continue renovating the restaurant with the hope it would be more profitable, rather than start applying for tech jobs. The renovation took 4 months in which I was abroad, staying with my family with our daughter for 6 weeks. This is when things started to fall apart. He resented me for being on vacation while he was working long hours renovating the cafe. I resented him for not being around and always finding reasons to be busy and not spend time and help caring for our daughter. He always found little projects like creating warming sleepers, buying random items on auctions, driving across the state, all during the hardest year of our lives as new parents. I felt like he didn't want to participate in the day-to-day activities of our baby and get to know her. I resented him for never giving her a bath, barely changed any diaper, read a story maybe twice in her life, never took her to the park. It made me so sad that he didn't want to spend time with us and be a family. From his perspective, someone needs to pay the bills. He was paying the rent and most our bills, and the financial pressure was building up. We had a tough year. We were fighting so much, resentment was building up, we didn't meet each other's expectations. Sigh. Talks about divorce started to emerge. But I wasn't gonna give up our marriage, our family. I knew that having a baby can be rough on the marriage, but I also knew things will get better. When our daughter was 13 months we decided to start daycare and I was gonna get back to work. Meanwhile, the cafe was done being renovated and we finally opened on October 1st this year. I was considering being the manager so my husband could start applying for tech jobs, but I got cold feet and decided it wasn't for me. I also didn't want to work long hours as a new mom. I started applying for jobs within my skill set and thought if I won't find anything, I'll work at the cafe. He was already upset that I changed my mind and that I was home all day while he was opening the cafe, but I knew he loves that place and he loved being there. Things were getting worse and worse between us. I'm alone with the baby, she was going to daycare part-time. He came back so late every night at midnight or later after closing the cafe at 5 p.m. Pool line all-nighters at least once a week. I suspect he's still using some sort of uppers. I was complaining, he's never around, and he begged me for help, but I didn't know how to help him. I was taking care of our baby all alone, and all the house chores too. Eventually, he was moving to the guest room and was asking for divorce, but I insisted on keeping our family together and start therapy. He agreed and we started therapy. I started coming to the cafe to help out. Since I wasn't successful landing a job, I was bringing our daughter there so he could spend time with her. A week after that I walked in on him and one of the employees having sex at the basement with our daughter in my arms. I was shocked and eventually decided to take a flight to stay with my parents to process everything, and of course I took our daughter with me. I haven't decided if I'm moving here and divorce him or come back and try to repair our marriage. I'm really confused. He's blaming me for taking his daughter away from him. He says he wanted to have a relationship with his daughter and he wasn't able to cause he was working all the time and I never brought her to the cafe. He's blaming me for holding our daughter hostage and is saying that I will never come back and he will never see his daughter again. Meanwhile, he's still fucking that employee at the basement of the cafe. AITAH, if I decide to live here with my daughter across the world from her dad and he will only see his daughter twice a year on visits. Edit, I got a permission from him to go visit my family for a month. I didn't just go. He even offered to pay for my plane ticket, but then he realized it would make me feel like he wanted us to go so he didn't pay for it. Anyways, there's no parental kidnapping in this case. He agreed I go for 1 month.